What's up, guys? SyntheticDivision here. Let's do a full thermal overhaul on this device. I've got the factory heatsink that I've bared it to the aluminum using some 320 grit sandpaper and a Scotch-Brite pad. The 320 grit to get the anodizing off, the Scotch-Brite to buff it and make it a little bit almost like a polish, nice and shiny, no deep grooves in it. I've got some Arctic Silver MX6, and I've got some extra heat sinks that I'm going to use. Now, the plan is to actually apply good thermal paste first, and then we'll let it heat soak and see how it does. Then I'm going to take it apart again, and I'm going to put on our aluminum heat sink to see how this does, this bared aluminum part does, to see if it increases or decreases the temperature on it. We're in my office. It is 72 degrees Fahrenheit in my office right now. So I've got my heat gun or my infrared temperature, and I wanted to show you something real quick. So let's turn it on. See those two guys right there? These two guys right here, they're getting pretty hot. Voltage regulators right there, inductor coil right there, and then some more of those. Now these ones aren't nearly as hot, so I'm not too worried about those. Definitely those two. Those are right behind here where the barrel jack is. Now let's look at the face of the barrel jack right back there. It's pretty warm too. And it's all pretty warm right here on this front of the board. So we're going to get our heatsink put here, and then we're going to put one over the top of those there, and then the inductor coil. And then we'll see the improvement, and then yeah, it'll be pretty awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over real quick and do the new thermal paste. And I'm going to kind of cut in and out a little bit on this one because I want to get right to the facts on this, okay? So hang with me. I'm going to tear it down, and I'll show you the placement before I start testing. Okay, guys, real quick, I placed one here, right in that nice hot spot. And instead of using the longer one that I was going to use like this, I decided to use a small one. It fit better. So we got two here and then one there. And we're going to try for maximum cool down on this guy. So if you've never seen an ASIC, there you go. That's kind of what it looks like. It's pretty crazy that these things get all their hashing power from that little tiny chip. It just shows you how cool technology can be. But that's basically a bare board with nothing on it. I'm going to pause the video again real quick. We're going to put thermal paste on. I have another video about that if you would like to see it. Check it out. Obviously, subscribe and you can see it over there, or go look at it. It's pretty cool. I've done a couple videos about how to apply thermal paste, and I think it's important. It's an important thing to know because you got to service this thermal paste. I would say, honestly, if you're buying cheap ones, get rid of the thermal paste immediately and get some fresh stuff put on, because this is literally what was on there, and it is junk. It's dry and crusty, and it's not very good. So we'll pause video. We'll get it all set up. Real quick, I just wanted to explain something. That is all I use for thermal paste. You do not need any more than that. You don't need to smother the whole ASIC with that. Just a small, tiny amount. That should do the trick. Honestly, I haven't had any overheats, and I've had really good thermals by putting just that much. You don't need to spread it out. If the heatsink is doing its job correctly, it'll spread it out the second you put it on. In fact, since I've got you here, let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to go ahead and set the heatsink on. Pop one corner in, get them lined up. They're kind of a pain in the butt to line up sometimes, so maybe we can get this one to line up. And then I like to go across the board, okay? Let's see, that one's just being kind of stubborn. Let's push it through. And then that one's being a little stubborn too. Push it through. Okay, plug the fan back in. I'll get it put in its stand, and we'll check thermals. Okay, we're all set up. It's been burning in for about 8 minutes or so. Look at those thermals, guys. 53 on the ASIC, 57 on the voltage regulator. That's awesome. We lower the temp on the ASIC and both the voltage regulator. Like I said, and one thing I wanted to put out there real quick, if you look at my temps here, so I'm on the Hash Watcher app. If you don't have this, and I recommend if you've got any Wi-Fi miners like the Bitaxe, the Nerdax, stuff like that, get Hash Watcher. 100% worth it. I always set on here my tune to 61150 just on here at first, just to get my good baseline thermals. Yes, it's slightly overclocked, so a little bit, but not bad. Um, don't mind the amperage on there. The amperage is not correct. I believe he said he was working on it to get it to be able to read correctly for 5-volt devices. We're hashing at 1.3 terahash, and we're doing good, guys. We're at the 10-minute mark now, and we're still at the same temps. So, fantastic. Now, the next test is going to be to use my Baird aluminum heatsink. Also, one note for the record, I like to turn my heatsink like this to blow a little bit of that air that's coming out here over the top of this heatsink here. It actually works. It does help. Maybe I'll show you in a future video of how it actually helps. But for right now, I'm going to switch over real quick. I'm going to get this heatsink off, get the thermal paste cleaned, and for science, we're going to put this one on and see what it does. Hang out there, guys. Okay, so as you can tell, we're just going back together with this. Let's kick this out of the way. You do have to take it out of the stand to get access to these. We've got our thermal paste on there. Position the fan where these fins are facing the board, or facing up here, okay? So let's go ahead and get this put on. I'm going to, a little suggestion, and I don't know, maybe no one's watching, but I think this is kind of something I need to hit home on. These little plastic doodads, these little push-throughs, they suck, okay? There's some cheaper Bitaxes out there, like the whiteboard ones that have the all aluminum cooler. They're so much better than that. These things suck, and when they fly out and go flying off, or you have a problem trying to get one, they just suck. So maybe that's something we can get manufacturers to work on, but my good lord, those things suck. Anyways, I just wanted to say that real fast. I do have, this is the stock one. I cleaned it off already. It's got its pins in it still, but yeah, I hate these push-throughs. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, not a big fan. I'm going to pause it, put the fan on, get it back on the stand, and we're going to let it burn in for 10 minutes. All right, guys, we're back. So take a look at those temps. We dropped the temp on the ASIC even more. When the ASIC isn't running high, the VR will run a little bit lower too. We're still at our 61150. This is awesome. This means that you can get your Bitaxe, regardless of what brand it is. Solo Satoshis have a good aluminum heatsink. The YYSULPING has a good heatsink. But any of these Gammas that have this heatsink like this, a little bit of elbow grease, some sandpaper, and some Scotch-Brite to shine it will lower the temp on that ASIC even more. Some cheap thermal paste. I mean, it was $7 for 2 tubes of this stuff. This is awesome. I'm so excited by this, guys. This just goes right back to my thoughts about cooling on a budget. Whether you use aluminum heat sinks or copper heat sinks, you'll get the same results. It's awesome. Super awesome. Like I said, I'm super excited about this. I think this is great. You know, you buy these Bitaxes and you spend however much you spent on them. Like these ones were like $65 for a whole bunch of them if I bought a bunch. But you know, you get your $100 Bitaxe that has this on it, or and just a little bit of sandpaper and Scotch-Brite, and you can fix. You can improve your headroom. Remember that we are slightly overclocked and we are at room temp. There's no extra fans. We've just got the 3 heat sinks on the back and the one on the front, and we're doing awesome. Now, if I put a jetpack on here from a void bit on the rack like I have the other ones, this thing will run even cooler. But we're giving ourselves that awesome thermal headroom. We don't have to buy a fancy pants cooler. We can just use the stock one with a little bit of sandpaper. That's great. I'm really happy about this. This one got me excited. This is so cool. So anyways, in conclusion, guys, we can cool them on the cheap. Like I said, this box of heat sinks right here, this is about $11. This box of heat sinks is about $16. You spend a lot of money on your Bitaxes. You can upgrade your own cooler. You don't even really need to buy a new cooler. Now we're going to push this to the limits, and I'll have that in a full overclocking video. If you guys would like to see me overclock this to the point where I burn it up, let me know. I'm happy to sacrifice one for the cause. I think it'd be pretty awesome, actually. But let me know down in the comments, guys. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. This was super fun, super exciting to try. It took about 4 hours to film this because I'm just going in between and taking the time. So I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, and please like and subscribe if you guys want to continue seeing cool stuff like this. Um, budgeting, cooling on the budget. That's so cool. Anyways, guys, watch. I've got some other videos about tearing Bitaxes down. If you're new to this, I've got some on how to set them up. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.